Today I am swapping out the burnt out motor on my furnace blower air cleaner. Hey guys, how's it going? Little bit of a different video today. I wasn't planning on making a video on this project to begin with. However, I ended up recording a bunch of clips for my Instagram page, @JohnTheShriner, and I figured that I had enough to stitch together a video. So aside from it all being vertical video, there's also no voiceover, just my thought train the whole way through. So without further ado, let's get into the project. Son of a bitch. So I guess I need to replace my air cleaner again. It's been a year. Luckily I have a couple different motors to choose from, so I should still be able to use pretty much everything I have there, along with the impeller, but still not something I was planning on doing. I guess it's also a good thing that we replaced the furnace when we did, because in a year we would have been needing to replace it anyways. See if I can do this one-handed. Probably not. This is heavy. Heavy. Yeah, it's completely jammed up. There we go. That chunk of garbage can get out of here. Barely turns, just under hand power, so yeah, that motor's done. So it looks like it is a, come on, 1/3 horsepower motor. So if I walk over to my motors, that came out of my old dryer or washing machine dryer, since it's got the impeller for everything there. I think I just picked that one up randomly. It's a 1/4 horsepower. The arbor is a bit too short though. Where'd that other one go? There it is. So this one is a 1/5 horsepower motor, but I might be able to make this one work. It's the same arbor diameter anyway, and it looks like I'll have enough play to get down to the set screw, which is on the other side here. The only issue I'm gonna have with this one is that it really doesn't have the mounts that one did. That one had the tripod basically holding it up. So I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to get something here. I'm thinking just kind of plywood ring that I can clamp around it, and I might just have to bolt it up here or something like that. But I think that one will work. And it doesn't have the capacitor or whatever it is here. That one didn't have it. So I took the old one off the old motor. I'm assuming it'll work since it was a bigger motor. So we'll find out if it explodes. I know why. Actually, I guess there's all of that electrical gobbledygook there, which I took a look at the other capacitor, and it doesn't look like those numbers match. So I don't know what any of that means, but I'm going to order a new capacitor that matches that, and just, you know, make things not explodey. So I think I kind of figured out what I'm going to do. Since these bolts go all the way through and basically secure the two halves of the motor together, I think if I use some scrap plywood and I make kind of a triangle here, I could mount this to that. I just need to get some hardware that's maybe an inch or so longer so I could secure it to the back of that. And then that should work. Just mount the back of the motor to a plywood triangle here that will still allow for airflow, but I'll be able to mount the motor to, and then the impeller can kind of just suspend in the middle of that once I get the set screw figured out. This is also one of the bolts that hold the two halves of the motor together. I'm going to see if I can find some more of these that are just longer, and that will make mounting this a little bit less of a challenge. So that's what I'm going to do. So I spent some time looking online cannot find 1/8 of an inch threaded rod or longer bolts that are 1/8 of an inch in diameter. So yeah, that might not be an option there. So what I did do is I got my tap and die set, and I picked up 6 feet of brass rod, 1/8 of an inch wide, so I can just tap new screws onto it, or tap new threads onto it, and I can use that, and I can make it as long as I want. So that should work there. So just occurred to me, I didn't need to get the brass rod. This motor's dead. It has longer hardware. It doesn't need the hardware. I could just take the hardware out of that and it would work fine in this motor. So, just for and giggles, before I go and return that rod, let's just double check and make sure that these work exactly how I needed them to. Now that I have the rest of the hardware out, I figured let's just take apart this motor just for and giggles. So, pull the bottom off. This bearing is fine. So I guess the only issue with this motor is that this bearing is seized up. So in theory, I could also just swap out that bearing and it would be fine. But I don't really want to, so I'm not gonna. But it's an option for later, maybe. Now I have the hardware. I'm going to use this chunk of metal. I'm gonna cut about 1 inch off, 3 strips, and I can send a line from here to here, here to here, and here to here. And that will suspend the motor into place higher, and it'll give me the space to lift the impeller up toward the middle and then clamp it down with the set screw. So that should work. I'm going to cut these off with the angle grinder, drill a couple holes at the drill press once I dig it out, and should be good to go. Other than the capacitor, which I did order, and it should be here sometime next week. There's 3 of them. Should be all I need. Now I just gotta drill holes. Just gotta let them cool off a little because they're a little toasty yet. Especially that one. And because I was doing all of the metal cutting right there, my miter saw got just a little dirty. Sorry, bud. Nice. Okay, there's one. No, I'm turning the whole damn bolt. That's not going to tighten if I'm just spinning the whole thing. And then I do the same thing again. Okay, so now if I lift the impeller, there's clearance for that, and it will spin. Perfect. So now I can tighten these down. Just lining up the set screw with the flat of the arbor. There we go. Perfect. Nice. There we go. Tight, spins freely. Looks like I got a new blower motor. All right, so aside from the capacitor, I know this one works without the capacitor. I've had it tested run before. I just temporarily wired it up with a couple wire nuts here, and I'm using my router power switch just to turn it on and off a little bit easier for a test fire. So let's do it. Oh. Okay, I just temporarily put the old starting capacitor on it. Let's see if it makes any difference or if it explodes in my face. That works much better. I think it's quieter than the other motor was too. But yeah, still moves a fair bit of air. Okay, perfect. There we go. Okay, perfect. Back up and running. So I'm just going to unplug it for now because I still don't have the starting capacitor. But once I do, it'll be an easy add-in over here. And then my air cleaner is back up and functioning. Perfect for $30 for the replacement motor that I bought 3-4 years ago. That's just been sitting in there. So really next to nothing on top of a machine that I built was scraps and a motor that was going to get thrown away anyway. So quite happy with how this worked out.